I'm Nazy Vassegh, art advisor and founder of I The Collector, the art and design platform. And I'm delighted to be with the London-based Lebanese powerhouse that is Maria Sukkar at her London home today, where we'll be discussing her art journey and what art means to her. Maria, thank you for seeing me. We met originally many years ago when we both served on a committee promoting patronage in the Middle East. So it's fitting that we're chatting today and talking about your patronage and collecting. Can I just start by asking you what art means to you?
Thank you so much, Nazi, for having me and for this beautiful introduction. It's true, we've been friends for 20 years or more, friends and art friends. So, in answer to your first question, I would say to me, art is an emotion um, and it can change throughout the day. So, art can provoke us, challenge us, comfort us, give us happiness. I mean, it gives me happiness uh, for most of the day. Um, and also, it helps me contemplate my life and gives me hope at times too.
So it actually plays a very important part in your life.
Yes, I mean, I couldn't imagine my house without these artworks because they really inhabit the house. They're not just works on the wall, they bring life to the house.
Yeah, they're very much the fabric of your being, aren't
Mhm.
they? Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I can see that. Now, you, Malix, have been collecting for over 2 decades.
Mhm.
How does it work with the two of you? How do you reach? I mean, is it a collective decision? How do you agree what to acquire?
He's fire, I'm earth.
I like that.
He's very spontaneous. It all comes from the heart and immediate. I'm very cerebral, calmer, and I like to think a lot about things. I process them. I'm more measured in terms of my approach to things. So, so he's the yin to my yang. Well, what we do is we took a decision early on to agree on works before acquiring them, but we allow each other a sort of a 20%, I would say, margin of freedom.
I like that.
And since we started collecting according to a theme, a central theme, um, the works that we've acquired or decided to acquire had to fall under the umbrella of the white theme. And um, I mean, it worked. We would sit down, discuss, and I would convince him, he would convince me. And I think that over time, we became quite similar in our approach to collecting. I mean, at times it doesn't work out at all. We agree to disagree.
Yeah, I like that. So it's a process of negotiation and collaboration, it sounds like.
True. And he's attracted to big sculptures,
Mhm.
traumatic works, like the Jenny Savile you see
Yeah.
here in front of you, dark, somber imagery. Whereas I like things that are more poetic, feminine, uh, more conceptual than figurative.
Mhm.
But we managed to make it work.
Yeah.
We did.
But when you walk around your home, there's a perfect marriage between the figurative and the conceptual all the way through in every room.
You can see it,
I can
right?
see it, absolutely. I can see it. He's great. And do you remember what the first piece was that you bought?
Yes, I do. And funnily enough, we agreed on that first piece together. Good start. Good start. We had just arrived in London. It was 2004, maybe 2005. And it was one of Anthony Gormley's early pieces, not earliest, but early pieces. It's, um, it's he casts himself and then makes a sculpture. So
Yeah.
it's um, himself in a fetal position,
Mhm.
but the sculpture is made out of small steel blocks. So it is the fetus in all its fragility, but because it's also cast in steel blocks, it also has this very sort of solidity in
Yeah.
it. And I think that was the piece that really started off the whole collection. And I still remember where we saw it, when we saw it, at which art gallery, and it was on the floor in this very small, white, lit room,
Mhm.
well lit room. Yeah.
Brilliant. I like that. Um, so there's always a lot of noise in the art market,
Hmm.
and collecting is very personal, and you have to stay sort of focused in a way. How do you keep the focus and the adventure going when there's the noise in the background and also an ever growing list of artists all the time?
Mm, that's a great question. It is not easy. It is not easy because people like to buy what's in fashion, whether it's clothes or handbags or even art. Um, we were very lucky from the beginning to have a wonderful art curator slash advisor, Prue O'Day, that you know very well,
Yes, she's wonderful.
who really taught us how to look at art and appreciate
Hmm.
art. And I still remember on her second meeting, she said, I'm going to print you out t-shirts that have focus, focus, focus on the front and less is more on the back.
I like it.
And you will wear them on your first trip to Art Basel with me.
Mm.
She said, you never buy with your ears. You have to buy with your heart. If you like a piece, go for it, even if it's not in fashion or if it's not one of the names
Mhm.
that are out there in the press. Curiosity is essential. Focus, like I said, um, but also, again, you have to follow your heart and buy what you like.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you are at risk of having a collection that looks like other collections and you lose your individuality.
Yeah.
So it's just choice you have to make early on and decide that you are not going to be influenced by everyone else's choices or tastes.
Well, it sounds like you apply discipline and rigor to it,
Hmm.
and you've got your collection I Self,
Mm.
which was exhibited at the Whitechapel Gallery
Hmm.
to incredible critical acclaim. 350,000 people went to see it. That's astounding and exciting. Can you? I know that it's concerned with the human condition,
Mm.
and a sense of identity, but I'd love you to tell us a little bit
Mm.
about it in your own works.
Yeah. So we didn't decide on the theme. We were collecting and collecting, and then one day when we decided to ask someone to help us, because we thought it was really getting out of hand. You know how it is. You start buying and collecting, and in the end, it becomes just an exercise in spending,
Mhm.
nothing more. We sat down with Prue and we looked at the works, and we realized that there was this common thread that linked all the works, and that common theme was the human condition. It was existentialism. It was answers to that same question: What are we doing on Earth? Who are we?
Mhm.
What is our mission here? What's our purpose? And most of the works fell under that umbrella
Mm.
of existentialism, and there were sub themes that also emerged from the main theme of the human condition, the theme of love and sex, motherhood, memory, trauma, but also displacement and death. And then we were thinking of a name, and I said, well, it's the self, but also the I. How about I self? And Malek, my husband, said, actually, I like this name. Let's go with it. And we coined the term I self, and we went with it.
It gives it a very sort of strong identity. The themes that you've just touched on
Hmm.
are obviously incredibly important to
Hmm.
you. And you touched on displacement and migration,
Hmm.
and we both know what that's like.
Hmm.
You from Lebanon, me from Iran. And there's this constant I guess, dialogue and internal friction that we have in sort of reevaluating our identity the whole time. You said that it came about when you looked at the collection, you then realize that there's this common theme. So do you think that that was formed because of your background and because you had moved?
Oh, absolutely. So that aspect of our personalities you were talking about is actually has a scientific term to it. It's called hybrid personality
Yeah.
because we're trying to work with the Maria that lived in Lebanon
Mm,
and was displaced in the war, but then the Maria who moved to London
mm,
and has reconstructed a different life than the
absolutely.
one in Beirut. But at the core, they're the same person. It's just a different way of adapting
Mhm,
and I wouldn't say behaving, but maybe reacting to things. A lot of the works in the collection resonate with that part of the Maria I was talking about.
mhm,
Works by Akram Zatari, for example, works by Mola Hatoum,
mhm,
and works by Subodh Gupta. So they're not sad works, but they're works that talk about migration and displacement and the effects they have on us, people who left their country of origin
mhm.
and have settled down in a different place.
So as well as your remarkable international collection, you're also very much a cultural custodian and a great patron of the art. You're a huge champion of Lebanese artists and you support the Beirut Art Center as well as having vital roles at the Tate, ICA, the Hayward, British Museum. I mean, the list really goes on. In the in the current climate of sort of economic retrenchment and arts fund cuts the whole time, what role do you think collectors could play in supporting the arts community?
We can start by, first of all, supporting institutions, fund art residencies,
Mhm,
fund artists' projects, fund exhibitions, because they put together these circles of exhibitions. So we can help be part of that, and we can also share the knowledge by inviting artists to our homes or to any other place and hosting talks, hosting events, so we can spotlight them.
I think about two-thirds of your collection is by women artists, isn't it? Which is fantastic. And it again, it's that thing of not listening and going with your heart because
Mm.
you very much did that from the outset. Wasn't the second piece you acquired by Tracy Emin, for
Yes,
example? Yeah.
well done. You've done your research,
I've done a bit
Nazi.
of research.
It's true. It's true. Again, that was something else we realized when we were looking at the list of artists, and then we realized that two-thirds of the artists were women. And I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised simply because I feel that because of the many roles that women play throughout their lives, they have that extra layer of sensibility and sensitivity that allows them to create work that is different from work
Mhm.
created by male artists.
Yeah.
That's why I'm very passionate about
Mhm.
women artists. There's so much we can talk about,
Yes.
and there's a lot of work to do to just be on par with male artists.
Mhm.
So that's why I feel that they deserve a lot of help, and I champion them.
Talking of artists, what's the one that got away?
Aha! It was actually a, a lamp by the Polish artist Alina Szapocznikow. And it was, I think, one of the lamp bush. So, Alina used to cast parts of her own body and put them together. So it was her mouth and I think part of one breast cast in resin, and the light came out of the mouth part, I think.
Mhm.
It was a beautiful piece, very surrealistic,
Yeah.
and I saw it at an art fair, and honestly, I fell in love with it. But it got away. It got away because my husband didn't like it,
Mhm.
uh, and we had a huge discussion. And Prue was present at the time, but then because I am a very nice person, I said fine, and I let it go, and I still regret it till that day.
From everything that you've been saying, it's very much that, it seems very much that you and Malik collect artists of our time.
Mhm.
And the discovery element is very important to you both. So I'm sure you come across lots of artists through studio visits, travel, etc. Is there anyone that you've recently discovered that you'd particularly like to highlight?
Yes, I actually discovered this incredible Moroccan artist. I was in Morocco,
Mm.
and we visited an artist residency, and there she was. It was in one of those sort of small rooms, a series of works on the wall.
Mhm.
The artist is called Khadija Al Abyad. I became friends with her actually. It's a very strange work, but very beautiful work.
Mhm.
So Khadija uses her own hair. She plucks it. She wrote a sentence: I draw the sense of touch. Each element is one word in Braille about women using strands of her own hair to highlight the fact that women are forced to cover their hair.
Finally, Maria, I'd love to know from you, if you were speaking to someone starting their collecting journey right now,
Mm.
what advice would you give them?
Do the research, do the work, um, join museum groups, find someone you trust so they can help you on this journey and you can ask them for advice. Buy the works that you like, the ones that speak to you. If a work keeps you awake at night, and of course it's affordable, it's within your budget, go for it. This is how you start. But learn. Learning is essential. Uh, and ask questions. And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time and you will make mistakes, but it's okay because this is what life is all about. And be inspired by those who have gone through the journey before you. I mean, when I moved to London, there were 4 or 5 incredible women collectors, and you know who they are,
Mhm.
and they know who they are.
Mm.
And I still look up to them up to this day. And I used to visit their homes and speak to them and see how they did it and
Mm.
why, and how the works were hung at their homes, how they looked at work, the confidence they had
Yeah.
when they walked through art fairs, but also the fun they used to have
Yeah,
and the giggles and the laughs.
that's important.
Yes, because they didn't also take it all so seriously.
Mhm.
And also the fact that they shared it all with us young collectors. And I love that. I really love the fact that they opened their homes and they shared not only their knowledge, but their possessions and everything else.
That's
So
great.
that's it.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you for being so open and illuminating. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to
Thank
you.
you. Oh, the pleasure's all mine. Thank you, Nazi.
Thanks,
Thank
May.
you.